Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I hope you're having a lovely day because you 100% deserve it. Welcome back to the Commonplace video. We're cutting this one a little close. It's currently 6:41 Thursday, and my videos usually go up on Friday. So yeah, that might change because my work schedule just changed. Instead of Wednesday, Thursday off, instead of Thursday, Friday off, now I'm gonna have Sunday, Monday off. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about work schedules. We are here to talk about commonplacing and my pajamas that I'm obsessed with, and reading and living our best lives, and how life is going. So yeah, the thing that I'm commonplacing about today is a little bit of a nerd sort of thing, but also sort of a work sort of thing. Helpful because, I decided to change career directions to get a job in a topic I'm actually interested in. So, wow, what a concept, they overlap now. But I'm commonplacing about whether lab-grown diamonds or natural diamonds are more environmentally friendly than the other. And I was watching a video on YouTube about moissanite versus diamonds, and the video creator referenced this study, and because supposedly moissanite is more environmentally friendly than diamonds because moissanites are grown in a lab, and there's a lot of people are concerned about the ethics behind mining practices for natural diamonds. So I decided to read the study, or at least the article that talked about the study. I didn't actually read the study. It would be very interesting too, but a lot of the links in the article were broken. And I guess the quick summary is you have to be careful about when you read studies for this exact reason. The article, when it was written, mentioned the American Diamond Association or something. It was like a more general sounding name, but I was like, I've never heard of that association. Let me go ahead and do a quick Google, and I found out that they have since the article was written and the study was published, they have gone through a rebrand, and they are not just diamonds in general, they are the Natural Diamond Council of America. So always important, friends, to check your sources, check who is funding the study, because I think we have the conception that if it's a scientific study, then it has to be accurate or that it is fact. But the thing about statistics and facts is that they can be cherry-picked, they can be displayed in a way that is biased or misleading. I learned that in AP statistics in high school. I was not good at math, but I was very good at AP statistics because AP statistics is just persuasion, and I call it the English of math. It's a lot of writing, it's a lot of word choice, being particular with your words and being particular with what data you are presenting. So if you're reading a study, I highly recommend looking into who funded the study, because most of them are funded by companies, and you can learn a lot about. So the study obviously was saying that natural diamonds are more environmentally friendly, and it was very interesting to read about how much carbon gets put into the atmosphere during the creation of lab-grown diamonds, and how not any that this study was aware of at the time it was written were run by renewable energy. And when I was watching the video about moissanites versus natural diamonds, the creator also mentioned that, a lot of the times that just like in any other industry, like fast fashion or whatever, you don't know what the conditions are in that factory. So yeah, so it was interesting to see that side of lab-grown diamonds. I think it's always important to look at both sides of the story before you come up with your personal opinion, even if it kind of is hard to. Like, I'm an environmentalist through and through, and I really remember, like, in the 2010s, early 2020s, which I guess we're still in, lab-grown diamonds were really pushed by environmentalists, and moissanites were really pushed by environmentalists because they're more ethical and they're more sustainable and blah, blah, blah. But what if that's not true, sort of thing? So I wanted to do some digging myself. I do think the article left out a lot of things about the carbon footprint of mining, and also you have to remember diamonds are created under the Earth's core through a lot of energy, pressure, and heat. So I don't know, it was just kind of interesting. And then they were also talking about just things like how mining practices have improved, and how now there's things like the Kimberley process, which supposedly, I think it's 98 or 99.8, can't remember. I don't have my journal in front of me, but some very high percentage. I think it's 99.8 or 98. I think it's 98. 98% of diamonds in the entire world today are sold using the Kimberley process. So they have to be kind of tracked, to make sure they're not blood diamonds, which is an interesting. I would love to watch that documentary, and I think I'm going to have to, because I have noticed people in work who come in to talk about diamonds. That is something that they ask about. They're always asking about blood diamonds. Are these blood diamonds? No, they're not. So there are processes in place, but like I said, it was very interesting to kind of get a different perspective, and also to be able to learn and kind of use the skills I learned in my research classes of, making sure that what you're reading is, funded by a non-biased person. So it was an interesting article. And then another thing I had to, as you saw, the article went beyond 2 pages, and I knew it was going to, 1 page spread. I knew it was going to when I was printing it out, and that was really hard on my perfectionist little brain, because I like when the articles just fit in 1 page spread. But that's not perfect, and not everything in life is perfect and works out that way. And then also my little pen, my pink highlighter pen, just kept picking up the ink. Usually it doesn't pick up and smear ink this badly, even when it's been printed for the same amount of time, because usually I print, I cut, and then I start commonplacing. There's never really, sometimes I have extra that I go back to in Commonplace later, but most of the time I'm highlighting right after it's printed, and it just kept smearing. So for the really important parts, I used washi tape to highlight, which I think it ended up really fun. I unintentionally made this. I don't know, maybe it was intentional. I don't think it was. But then I was like, ooh, this is kind of nice. I read I read Youth Juice this week, which has a pink cover. I love books with pink color. Pink is one of my favorite colors. So it had a pink cover, and then I got these pajamas they're from Old Navy, and they were kind of expensive. They're 100% cotton, and they were sold out the first time. This is actually one of the few things in life that an influencer has influenced me to buy, because I follow someone on Instagram and she wears them all the time, and they look so cute. And then I know those striped kind of pajama looking pants are trending, especially over for Scandi fashion, and I just think they're adorable and so casual, and I love pajamas. Yes. So I had to buy these, but they were out of stock. So then and then I saw that they were back in stock. So I was like, now's my time. So I did. I bought them, and I don't think I've taken them off. I've worn them so many times. I've washed them already, and they shrunk a little, but I bought up a size thinking and knowing that they would, because they're 100% cotton. But yeah, I can't take them off. And so they're red, but because they're paired with white, and because they're not a solid red stripe, they're which on camera I'm realizing looks awful, so I apologize. But they're not a solid stripe. They have little spaces, so it reads kind of pink. And then my highlighter is pink, and so I was like, okay, we'll just go all out. We'll just go all out with the pink. And I used pink washi tape, and yeah. So, but yeah, I ended up really liking this spread. I felt in the middle I didn't know where it was going, and I never really liked when things take longer than a 1-page spread or 2 columns for the articles. So I was like, I'm probably gonna hate this later. I'm probably gonna want to redo it. But I really liked it, how it turned out. I think it was super fun, and I just happened to have printed a photo. I was going to do more research into diamond colors and the diamond color scale, which is also very interesting to me. So I already had a picture printed, and I don't think I'm going to read that article, because it's really hard to print out pictures and see the diamond color variations unless they're extreme. And even in person, it's kind of low-key very hard. I work at a jewelry store every day, and yes, I am new to the jewelry industry, so if I'm sitting there looking at the loose diamonds next to each other all day long, I can tell the differences. But I've told customers before, like, I was selling diamond studs, and they were like, well, they like, you know, blah, 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 like, this one's not as clear or not as bright. And I'm like, okay, they're going to be on your ears, and no one's going to be looking that close. I think we can go, like, with a little bit of, you know, not the perfect icy white color, because you're getting small studs, and they'll be on your ears. No one's going to be that close to you. Like, your earrings are never going to be right next to your wedding ring sort of thing, because they'll be on your ears and one's on your hand. So we were able to find something in her budget, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I already had a diamond picture printed out, so that was great. I really want to be using these fairy pictures more. I'm, like, obsessed with fairies. The fairy obsession is coming back. I think I'm going to reread The Cruel Prince again, which would be the third time I'm reading it this year, but it is truly... it feels like I read it a million years ago, but the first time I read the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black was in February of this year. So it's not even been in my life for a year, and I've already read it so many times, and I'm obsessed. It's a comfort book, it's a comfort novel, it's going to be, and I felt like I read it before I moved across the country, I read it while I was moving across the country, and I just feel like I have to read it now. Now that I'm here and I'm feeling more settled and feeling more grounded, I feel like I have to read it again. Plus, I also read The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, and it references characters and objects that are in the Cruel Prince series, but The Darkest Part of the Forest was written first. So now I want to go back and reread The Cruel Prince, and I know that they're mentioned because the characters, I was like, is that the same guy? Like, I had to Google it because I was like, I know that name. Was it in the other? And it was. So now I want to go back and reread, knowing the context that I do from the previous book that I have now read. Yeah. And then I read Youth Juice. That's in my sister told me that she wants me to buy her a book for Christmas, one that I would recommend to her. So now I've been trying to read books that I think she'll like. Based on previous ones I know she has liked, and she really likes the Ugly series. Like, that was a staple, I think, of our childhood. We both really loved the Ugly series. But any book that I've read as an adult that reminds me of Uglies, but feels more adult and feels like it talks about that topic of natural beauty versus, like, the beauty industry and our obsession with blah, 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 is a horror book, and I don't know if my sister is into horror. So I picked up this one not knowing it was horror. Like, I read the Goodreads summary and it didn't sound like it was horror, and I don't know how I figured out it was. I think when I finally picked it up from the library, like, even the library, when I went to put it on hold, it didn't say horror. It said, like, literary fiction. I was like, oh, okay. I should have known because there's freaking blood on the cover. Come on, Erica. But I read it, and it was definitely a book where at first I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. This might be a DNF, because it has that writing style that is... one of the quotes on the back says sublime, but I'm not even sure I really know the true definition of sublime, so I hesitate to use that word. It's the very cool girl, trendy writing style right now, where, like, they don't write complete sentences all the time, and they think that makes it very atmospheric. And so at first I really couldn't stand it. And then I kept reading the book, and then the character started to, I don't think it's a spoiler. She falls into, like, a madness. Like, she goes a little insane. Like, at the 50 or 60% mark, I was like, okay, this is officially a what the fuck am I reading book, in, like, a good way. Because it just gets insane. It just gets progressively crazier and worse and more obscene and graphic, but at the same, like, it was pretty graphic, but at the same time I feel like it wasn't, like, it was tasteful. Like, I didn't feel like there were any gory details or horror details for the sake of trying to scare you. It was just that. And then the writing style, I figured out that without it ever saying, that the main character is a little bit dissociative, and I think that's why the writing style almost feels hazy and not complete because I don't really think the character is really there mentally. So I ended up liking it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. If you're into horror, if you really liked Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang, you will like Youth Juice. It doesn't say as much about society, and it is not as beautiful. Like, I think Natural Beauty is a beautiful book because it's a commentary on not just natural beauty but also immigrants, and there's a lot of layers to it, and there's a lot of symbolism and a very slow unfurling, and you see the character go on a journey. And this one, she just gets crazy. And at the end of the book, you still are kind of like, is she crazy or is she good now? And it leaned more horror. Like, Natural Beauty by Ling Ling Huang had horror elements, but also I liked this more than Black Sheep. And it also, a lot of the places of reading places were like, oh, if you like Black Sheep, you'll like Youth Juice. And I was like, okay, I didn't like Black Sheep, so I'm probably not gonna, but I did. I liked this. Youth Juice was good. I would recommend it. If you know any books with pink covers, please send them my way. It's like my goal to purposely read books with pink covers solely for the fact that they have pink covers. I somehow ended up rambling this whole time. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about in this video. Like, I'm probably going to like talk about the article for like 5 seconds and then run out of things to say. But here I am. We've got a little bit of time left. How are you doing? How are you guys doing? I'm doing better. I feel a lot more grounded. I started working on some goal setting, and maybe, I don't think I talked about it in my last video, but I was sitting at the restaurant before a shift last week, looking at my master list of goals that I had for 2024, because I was feeling really discouraged and like I hadn't accomplished anything, that I didn't accomplish any of my goals. But then when I went back and looked at my list, I discovered that I had actually accomplished a lot of them, and a lot of them were abstract. And I think I had in my mind, like, I really wanted this to be a money-focused year and getting my finances in order. But that is extremely difficult to do when you are literally moving across the country. And then you lose your job. So I was feeling very discouraged. So I looked at those goals from that list, and I felt a lot better afterwards. And then I felt like I feel like I have a more reasonable idea of what I should expect for myself or can expect for myself, and what I should not. Not put too high of expectations on myself of what I can accomplish in a year. So I've started working on my next ones. October is usually when I do my goal setting. October feels like a nice reset time for me. I know most people are like, it's like New Year's traditionally, but I lean more spiritual, and supposedly October is the beginning of the new year. I said that with air quotes with my fingers because I think we've discovered as a community that was like a 1990s Wicca made us all think that sort of thing. But let me know if you guys start doing, because I know planner stuff comes out around this time of year, so everyone starts thinking about 2025 or the next year in terms of planners. But do you guys also start thinking about your next year's goals around this time, and do you start planning and reflecting on how your year has gone around this time, or do you wait until like end of December or January to do that? I'd be very interested to hear. And then also let me know if you guys would want to see something like, I create a vision board every year. They're nothing serious, and they're nothing like super well, I don't know, maybe they are super Pinteresty, because I use them as my iPad wallpaper for the rest of the year. But if you guys want to see some of that cool planning, let me know, because I think I've decided that next year I want to be a very grounding and loose kind of year. Like, I just want to relax. I just want to allow myself to enjoy things more. So if you want to see how I'm planning and allowing myself to do that while also still sort of goal setting, let me know. If you want to see how I create my vision board, let me know. I do it digitally. I use Procreate. I'm gonna buy Photoshop for the month because I need it for some Christmas presents. But anyway, the video is wrapping up. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely day, evening, afternoon, whatever, because you 100% deserve it. I'm finally adjusting, so I will hopefully see you guys all next week. If not, don't be a stranger. Follow me on Instagram, and we'll keep in touch. Bye, guys.